Now, this isn't right. Caddy, a 3-iron, please, if you don't mind. Man, you're not the fastest caddy, but certainly the most expensive. Thank you. All right. Ah, that's better. All right, you can go. Okay. Here we go. Don't really want to hit either of these. Oh my God. Careful. That's an expensive one. So is that one. It's doing it all itself. Oh my goodness. Look, there's nobody in the vehicle. What's up, everybody? My name is Elliott, but you can call me the Motory Notary. And remember, practice your backswing. Experts say it's even more important than your forward swing. This is the car that saved Tiger Woods' life.
And we have a bad accident that occurred early this morning around 7:30 with this overturned vehicle on Hawthorne Boulevard.
Golf superstar Tiger Woods, who has been injured in a serious car accident in Palos Verdes, California.
Sheriff says it was a single vehicle rollover collision. Woods had to be pulled out of the car by the jaws of life. According to his agent, he suffered multiple leg injuries and is currently in surgery.
On February 24th at approximately 7 a.m., Tiger Woods was involved in a very serious, multiple rollover, horrific accident. The car he was driving? One of these, a 2021 Genesis GV80. In this exact color, actually. They call it Gold Coast Beige. And today, I have one, and I'm going to show you why this very vehicle is the reason that Tiger Woods is still alive today. But before we get into all of that safety talk, let's discuss what this vehicle actually is. This is the all-new 2021 Genesis GV80. And you might remember the name Genesis as not only being the first book of the Bible, but as Hyundai's luxury division. But try not to think of it like that anymore. Genesis now is its entirely separate brand. Much like Lexus is a standalone brand from Toyota, Genesis now stands completely on its own, and this is their first SUV offering. Now, believe it or not, they've actually stood on their own for a couple of years now, but up until this year, all they'd offered before were luxury sedans. And in America, the land of SUVs, well, you can imagine a brand that only offered sedans, the sales were so-so. But not so much anymore. Now Genesis has jumped into the SUV pool with both feet, and what a splash they've made. They're going head-to-head with this vehicle with the likes of the BMW X5, the Mercedes GLE, even the Volvo XC90. But what the Genesis GV80 has above those vehicles is Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods wasn't driving a BMW X5 when he rolled off a hill, nor was he driving some piddly Mercedes. Heck, he wasn't even driving a Volvo. So all those brands can suck it as far as Genesis is concerned. So let's take a look and see what makes this car what it is and why you should probably think about one of these before shopping for one of those brands. One thing you want with an SUV of this price point is a good-looking SUV, and this certainly achieves it. This massive grille makes a statement the second you see it. It's Bentley Bentayga-esque, but that's a good thing. You want people to think you're driving something expensive, especially when you actually are. Now, I actually really love the double headlights. It actually kind of looks like the guy from Deep Space, the video game. If you know what I mean, you'll know what I'm saying. It looks exactly like his helmet, but that's also a good thing. That was a cool looking helmet, and these are really cool looking headlights. Moving on to the side, you've got big 22-inch wheels that look fantastic. They're very stylish, and huge 6-piston brakes in here. The best part about it for me is it's not like a floating caliper. It's a really good looking caliper that says Genesis on it, because branding is key when you're trying to make a name for yourself. It's also got side markers that mimic the headlights. I really like that. And overall, the outside is very handsome, especially in this Gold Coast Beige. I think it actually does a nice job of blending the chrome into the paint without the chrome standing out too much like it does in some of the other colors. Might have been one of the reasons that Tiger Woods requested to have one in this color. Just looks really nice. Overall, I'd say if you pull up in a parking lot in this, no one's gonna say, oh, what is that? It doesn't look like you spent very much. So far, the reactions that I've had while driving it were, whoa, what is that? Not, ew, what is that? Which is precisely what you want in a luxury SUV. And the Genesis is doing that with its first ever offering. Now that's impressive. But enough about the outside. That's what anybody can see when they're at a stoplight oogling one of these things. Let's take a look at the inside, and that's where the Genesis GV80 really shines. This thing is packed full of features, including the features that saved Tiger Woods' life. As I climb into the GV80, wow, I am greeted with the finest of materials, and I'm being moved forward into a correct driving position, which is nice. But seriously, everything you touch in here is premium. But that's not what saved Tiger Woods' life. What saved Tiger Woods' life is the safety features in this car. Believe it or not, the Genesis GV80 is so new, it's still not currently ranked by the IIHS, and those are the people that give out the crash test safety ratings for all new vehicles. But with a major rollover incident involving a celebrity, that's kind of all you need on your resume to show me that it's a safe car. Safety-specific features to the GV80 include 10 airbags. Now, I don't know how many a normal car has, but it's definitely not 10. The GV80 has a driver's side airbag, passenger side airbag, driver's side curtain, passenger side curtain. Both sides of the rear passengers have side curtains. Both front passengers have knee airbags, and a class exclusive airbag that only the GV80 has is a passenger separator airbag. So there's actually an airbag in between both of these seats that will deploy to keep passengers from running into each other, or in Tiger Woods' case, keeping his body kind of in a little cocoon right here rather than only being protected on the door side. Very, very handy, and obviously proven very safe. Now, I've driven the other cars in this segment, and this really does stand out as one of the nicest. The controls are very easy to use. The nav system isn't difficult. In fact, it's huge. This is a 14-inch display, which is massive. Right now in the industry, 8 and 9-inch displays are considered big. And here comes Genesis with a 14-incher. That's pretty serious. Not to mention, the driver's side information display is a full screen, but they did this really, really cool thing to make it look 3D without actually making a 3D module. So it's one screen, but they did this kind of like glassesless 3D thing to make the gauges stand out from one another, which is very hard to capture on camera, but really, really cool to the naked eye. Like I said, beautiful cabin. You've got nice quilted stitched seats, perforated. Of course, they're heated and cooled. All of that's controlled from in here. But one thing that I really love is this single style line vent. They didn't put the vents anywhere in here to disrupt the design. They just made a style line and incorporated the vents with it, and it works really, really well. It's not something you normally think about. I know that I never really cared about air vents until I saw this. But now that I see how air vents could be, I'm gonna start noticing air vents in a lot of other vehicles. But in this is the perfect execution. Switching to handheld mode here for a second, let me show you just how awesome all of this tech is when it's on. Now, look at starting the car. First of all, a premium feeling aluminum button. And just look at those gauges. It's very hard to see on camera, but just believe me, it's one screen, and these are 3D in a way that is unlike anything I've ever seen. Also, reverse tack like an Aston Martin. Very cool. Everything else though, look at this screen for the climate controls. And what I love is that this is an automatic climate control, but has 3 levels of fan speed. So you can leave it on automatic, but you can go auto low, auto medium, and auto high. And that's good for people who are like, well, I like automatic, but it always blows too hard to get itself to the temperature quickly. Well, not anymore. With this, you can make it be like, well, let it do its own thing, but at a slower pace. What I also appreciate is that each thing is its own screen. So you don't have to guess at what temperatures are, or do it down here and then look up on the infotainment screen. It's all right here for you. You've got your wireless charging Qi compatible area down here, a couple of USB ports, and close that and it goes away. Up here, it's got this really cool cityscape all the time. Normally this would be a map, but we're inside, so it doesn't quite know where we are. But with just a flick of this dial, you're greeted with this very quick, very fast display with a lot of cool little features. But you don't just have to use the click wheel. You can also use your finger, and look at that, it's very responsive. It's crazy how good these have gotten in the last few years. Now, the features that stood out to me the most on this screen are this one, Sounds of Nature. This is literally a built-in sound machine in your car. As a father of a young 2-year-old, this would be so, so cool. But it's not just for kids. Imagine you're an adult and you just had a stressful day at work and you want to listen to, I don't know, a lively forest. Well, you click on lively forest and there you go. Listen to that. A lively forest sound. Let's say you want to listen to calm sea waves. Boom. A rainy day. This one would be okay unless you were on a road trip and really needed to pee. But other than that, still pretty neat feature. Moving on, you have one of my other favorite features, quiet mode. You press this, and as you can see, it says in quiet mode, radio media is played only in the front seats. Volume will be limited to 7. If you have a sleeping child, let's say your Sounds of Nature had lulled them to sleep, now you can put it on quiet mode and pretty much listen to whatever you want, and the sound system will isolate it just to the front occupants. Now that's really, really cool. Also, because it actually says quiet mode on the screen, I think it'd be a really good negotiation tool for your kids. You know, you can be driving along and be like, all right, it's time to play the quiet game. Mommy and daddy are playing the quiet game. And then hit this and be like, look, even the car is playing the quiet game. Literally everyone's playing the quiet game. So let's all shh. Overall, this has all of the features that you would ever want and need in a luxury car, but it's actually a lot easier to access them and use them in this vehicle. So that's huge, because one of the things that sucks about some newer cars is they have this massive learning curve of how to use all of the cool features. But I don't think that's the case here. Even if for an older, less experienced person, they could jump right in this car and use it. Around the back of the GV80, you're greeted with the same dual headlight styling, but it's brought back around to the taillights, which I think looks really, really cool. Also, you'll notice it says Genesis, really huge and really spaced out. Now, I don't know for sure, but I think that this is like this because they're trying to get the brand name out there, and what better way than when you're sitting behind one of these at a stoplight thinking, wow, what an awesome looking car. Who makes it? What is that? Then you can Google Genesis very easily. So pretty smart of them. Now, because it says Genesis huge, you'll notice there's no handle or anything to lift up this tailgate. So how do you do it? Well, they've actually put a little button in underneath this rear wiper. So one quick press of that and, well, up it goes. And it's pretty fast too. Now back here, you'll notice there's an ample amount of room. Believe it or not, these are available as a 3-row SUV, but this particular model is only a 2-row. And to be honest, I think that's how it should be. This is a pretty sizable SUV, but the 3rd row would be very, very cramped. Now, as you can see, got more than enough room for a set of clubs, and that's with the 2nd row in place. Now, let's say you need to go to Lowe's after golfing. Well, putting the 2nd row down is as easy as a push of a button. And you can either put one side down or both sides down, and it folds completely flat and you don't have to do a thing. If you want them back up, same deal. You just press them and up they go. Look, and while this car is packed with awesome tech on the inside, to make the best use of it, we actually need to go outside, and I'll show you some of its coolest features. All right, out on the road in the GV80, and oh, you know what? I need to use the restroom before we leave. Probably all of that trickling water I was listening to, so let me park this thing real quick. Ah, would you look at that? It's the Freedom W and the Penny Slot Z4. They're just hanging out here. I guess I'll just put this in park and then go inside and go to the restroom real quick. But that's where the fun begins. See, check this out. So there we go, there's the Freedom W, but I really have to use the restroom. But because everything is cool in the GV80, including parking, check this out. Hold this park feature, start searching for a space, and we inch forward. Tells me it found one, but that's not the one I want. There we go. Now I have the option to parallel park between my 2 BMWs. Here we go. Don't really want to hit either of these. Oh my God. It's doing it all itself. Careful. That's an expensive one. So is that one. Oh, this is bizarre, guys. Oh. And look at that. It's correcting itself. Oh. Look at this. Parking completed. Turn off the ignition and leave the vehicle. Now, how neat was that? Wow. But, believe it or not, it can get cooler. Check this out. Okay, now we are in a position to parallel park. And when you select it, look at this other option. Remote parking, you can shift to park and exit the vehicle. And this is gonna be wild. One press of this button, and we'll see. Oh my God, it's doing it. Look at that. Oh my goodness, look, there's nobody in the vehicle. That is crazy. Look at that. Just holding this button. It's even pulling forward. Oh my goodness. How freaking cool was that? That gives me another idea. If it can do that all by itself, think about what that means on the golf course. Now, this isn't right. Caddy, a 3-iron, please, if you don't mind. Ah, man, you're not the fastest caddy, but certainly the most expensive. Thank you. All right. Ah, that's better. All right, you can go. Thank you. You're done. I appreciate it. Okay. No, seriously, you can go. I'm good. I've got it. All right, all jokes aside, what is the GV80 like to drive? Well, really, really good. And with a sticker price just a little north of $70,000, it should be. But even at $72,000, which is what this one's sticker's for, it's still a fraction of the cost of its similarly optioned competitors would be. You would have to option an X5 or a GLE well north of 100 grand to get all of the features that this one has. Speaking of features, I just put on the right turn signal, and of course, it took over the right side of this beautiful digital display and shows me the blind spot, shows me my live blind spot right there. Now, I kind of forgot to mention in my in-studio session, this is the big motor on this car. This is the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. It makes about 375 horsepower, which is a lot. And you got all of that twin turbo torque, so it's almost 400 pound-feet of torque. And it's enough to move this big behemoth of an SUV more than adequately. This thing scoots more than it has any right to. In fact, you can get on the highway right here, and I'll show you. Here we go. Ooh. Okay, and we're already up to the speed limit and still have plenty of on-ramp left. That is how I like my cars. And I love it. Merging, I got another live view of my blind spot. That is so, so cool. All right, but now that we're on the highway, we can talk about another one of the Genesis's cool features. So this has highway driving assist, which means it'll keep itself in the middle of the lane and do adaptive cruise control and keep you centered in the lane. So right now, I don't have to have my hands on the wheel. We're following a car in front of us. It's not ping-ponging between the lanes. A lot of these systems will kind of find the line over here and correct you, and then find the line over here and correct you. This one uses both sides of the marker and the car in front of you to determine where the center of the lane is and keep you there. And right now, we're going through a turn, and I don't have to do a thing. And it's not getting mad at me for not touching the wheel. That is how a self-driving system should be. This is great. This would make driver fatigue a non-issue on any road trip. That is fantastic. Oh man, I just can't get over every time I put the turn signal on. There it is. Again, pulling away from a stop here. Got a little bit of beans. We got a twin turbo V6. Okay, man. I mean, you can see why Tiger Woods would want to drive one of these. You've got the finest materials, more than adequate power. And again, this thing isn't trying to be sporty. Everyone, yes, it has, you can put it in sport mode, but you know, why? That's not what this car is. This is a luxury SUV, and it delivers on that front again and again. So that's the all-new Genesis GV80, Genesis's first SUV. And after a day out on the links, I could see why Tiger wanted to drive one of these. And it's a good thing too, because it ultimately ended up saving his life. And believe it or not, Tiger's not the first pro golfer to be injured in a major car accident before going on to win something else. In 1949, Ben Hogan was involved in a horrible car accident. He was hit by a Greyhound bus. He broke his legs and a bunch of other stuff, and he was terribly injured. But he went on to win the 1950 US Open. So if history repeats itself, which it often does, I think we're going to see Tiger Woods back out on the golf course in no time, and we have Genesis to thank for it. I also want to give a huge thank you to Genesis of Wichita for letting me borrow the GV80 for the day. It's an awesome vehicle, and they are an awesome dealership to do business with. So if you're in the market for a new Genesis in the Midwest area, or heck, probably even the United States, be sure to check them out. I'll have a link to them in the description below. Genesis of Wichita, thank you. Now, I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. I try to post little previews of episodes there. Follow me on Facebook. Join my Facebook group. There's tons of memes and lots of fun to be had there, and I'm often in there interacting in the comments. And other than that, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next video.